Hello, everyone. Greetings to you once again, and thank you for joining in today's webinar, the MSM Campus Connect. I know we have been from all over Africa, but North Africa, South Africa, East Africa, and West Africa, and we want to say a very big welcome. Today's webinar is brought to you by MSM Unify. MSM Unify is the tech platform of M-Square Media. They are a leading education services provider with colleges and universities, across North America, the UK, Australia, and M-Square Media recruits international students and diversify the campuses of the partner institutions. In today's webinar, we will give you an opportunity to discover a new world of possibilities. And in doing that, you're going to learn some of the good benefits of international education. And there's no other way from speaking to current and previous international students who have controlled the process and have become very good career professionals. But before I move on to introduce our speakers and distinguished guests, I'm moderating this session with my colleague, Titus, and he will also introduce himself, after this. Hi, Titus.
Hi, Kenna.
So if you could just give us a brief introduction, and then perhaps, take it from there.
Okay. My name is Titus Suter. I'm the country manager for M-Square Media Kenya. And I'm excited to be in this session because of 3 reasons. So I'll quickly go through the 3 reasons. The first one is my background in natural resource management. So I'm excited to have Sharon on board, who has also a background in natural resource management. Second reason is because of I'm an Erasmus Mundus alumni. So I'm excited to have Meltreen on board, who is also an Erasmus Mundus alumni, to share our study abroad experience. And then the third reason I'm excited is because I have a lot of passion in nurturing talents, intellectual talents. So our speakers, they graduated with first-class honors. So I'm excited to have people who graduated with first-class honors because I also graduated with first-class honors myself. During the last week's session, we had 2 speakers. So some of the career possibilities for them, one of them is currently working abroad in the UK, working with the civil service in the UK. And then the other speaker is working in consulting, doing a consulting business. So in today's session, we are going to have Sharon, who is working with a multinational corporation, and also she's working in the academia. And then we also have Meltreen, who is working with an international organization, international nonprofit organization or an NGO. So I will take this opportunity to welcome our 2 speakers to give us an introduction about themselves, their academic and their professional backgrounds. Thank you.
So either Meltreen or Sharon, either of you can start. So we wait to just learn a little bit about you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's evening in Nairobi. Good evening or good whatever time from wherever you're watching from. Thank you for joining this session today. My name is Sharon Waswa. I am Kenyan, and I currently am the training specialist for Agco Corporation. It's a Fortune 500 company. And I also teach at the university, and I am so glad to be here today. Yeah, over to you, Meltreen.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, MSM Connect, and thank you everyone for joining this session today. So my name is Meltreen Sikele. I'm Kenyan also, sorry for the background noise in case of any. And I studied in Jomo Kenyatta University, Actuarial Science. And then after that, I had a bit of work experience in Kenya. that is in Nairobi, a bit actuarial. And then I got really bored. I'm sorry for the actuarial scientists. And then I decided, okay, let me venture into data analysis. So I applied for another job in Eldoret, Kenya with Ascent Compliance as a data associate. And then afterwards, I knew I wanted to apply for Erasmus and venture into the development world. So I applied for GLODEP, Erasmus Mundus, International Development Studies. And after that, it was 2 years in Czech Republic, France, and Italy. And then currently I'm employed with the Institute for International Cooperation and Development in Uganda. It's an Italian NGO, but it has offices in Italy and Uganda. And I'm currently based in Uganda as a monitoring and evaluation officer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, distinguished guest Meltreen, Sharon. It's good to learn a little bit about, all your strides on how, the international education that you've had has really impacted in your careers. Just a little housekeeping for our attendees. Before we get started, we'll be using the Q&A, and that's going to allow us, ask all our questions, all the concerns that we may have, in the course of the presentation. We will surely be keeping a tab on that. So be rest assured that all your questions, all your concerns will be addressed, by our distinguished speakers today. So please use the chat box, use the Q&A, and put whatever, information you want us to address. Great. So I will start with you, Meltreen, because I think I like, this position in terms of, the outcome. You talked about the NGO in Italy, and you studied in Czech Republic, you're Kenyan, and also you're in Uganda, just, a very good, all-round, combination. So for the job, that you got in terms of, the aspect of getting that job, before you traveled for your master's, could you give us a little bit of, background in terms of what you had, before getting or traveling for your master's? Was it in any way connected to, the current, experience or jobs you're getting now? So a little bit of academic or professional background prior to just quest to study abroad.
Well, so currently I'm in the development field, and it's in no way connected to my undergraduate. Like I said, I remember the first time when I was applying for the master's, I met Titus, and I was so frustrated, and I don't really enjoy my work experience. I want to venture into a different field, and I'm looking for a way to do that. That's how I came up with the master's degree that I studied. But anyway, academically, I studied actuarial science, and I really enjoyed the classwork bit, all the mathematics, the statistics. It was really fun. Yeah, and then at the same time, during my undergraduate, I was a member of Rotary International. So I used to volunteer like almost all my weekends. I didn't have any free weekend. So I volunteered most of my time, doing community service, interacting with other Rotaractors, Rotarians, and I was really impressed. Like you see, in actuarial, yes, I went to the office, I sat in this desk, but I really served corporate clients, and I didn't get to interact with them on a one-to-one basis, and I wasn't really excited. But here in Rotaract, I get to go to the community, I meet individuals, beneficiaries, I interact with them on one-to-one, I see the impact, like then I see the smile on their faces, they're happy, they sing songs. So yeah, that's how I came to realize my passion for development studies. And I have a background in actuarial science. So I tried to figure a way to connect my background, actuarial science, and development studies. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna venture into development research. Research for development, in order to influence better policy making. So many projects implementation needs accountability. So that's my that was my motivation for applying for my master's. So at the moment when I was applying for my master's, I was working as a research and data associate. So you can see, yes, my motivation, I didn't really have to study GLODEP, International Development Studies, you had to have a background in social sciences, or at least your work experience or volunteer experience had to be connected with development studies. So at least my volunteer experience was in line with what I wanted to apply for, even though my academic experience wasn't really in line with GLODEP. So I think that's why I got into that program. So that was it.
Yeah, brilliant. So for our attendees, this is a very clear message. It's not, I want to study abroad. I just need to get there before I actually get prepared or get myself, in tune. From what she just said, belonging to, associations, clubs, being able to have a very good, rich network, and versatility, helps a lot, in the preparation, for studying abroad. And she's even studied, something different from her background. And this was actually because of the preparation, prior to even thinking about studying abroad. So, Sharon, I don't know if there's something similar, if it's also connected, with your own your own story in terms of, before studying abroad, what you studied, was it connected to your academic or professional background? Could you just give us a little bit of, information as to why back at home, before studying abroad, what were the things that, were happening in your life, and how did that really push and motivate you to want to study abroad?
Thank you, Ichena. In my case, it's a little different from Meltreen's case. I knew very early on that I wanted to work in academia, and I knew that for me to work in academia, I would need to have a master's degree and even get a PhD. Still working on the PhD, so don't ask me about that. But then that didn't mean that I would not have experience in the field. That would not mean that my bills would not get paid. So I was very, very intentional about gaining work experience as early as in first year in the university. When people are going for long holidays, I would go volunteer at the National Museums of Kenya. I would go volunteer at Kenya Forest Service and so on. And so immediately after completing my studies at the university, even before graduation, I got an internship position at Strathmore Business School. Strathmore is a leading university in Kenya. And at the business school, they offer leadership courses and so on. And so as part of my experience there, I got an insight into a whole new world. So life was not about science only. There was more to life than just, being a conservation scientist. But that didn't diminish my hopes. As a matter of fact, my scholarship, when I got the scholarship that I got to go study abroad, my former professor sent me a link to apply to that scholarship. And this was because I had let him know very blatantly that I wanted, and I was very interested in getting a scholarship to go study abroad. And also one thing probably I should mention that because I knew I wanted to go abroad, I also knew that I needed to work on my grades. That didn't mean I didn't get a D, no, but I also knew that I could not get straight Ds, or I could not afford to get even 2 of those, so that I could get a grade that would allow me to get a scholarship and go abroad. So for me, I worked before going abroad. And also when I went abroad, when I finally got the chance, I told my employer that I needed time off. I needed study leave, which he agreed to. And so I went, it was unpaid. I took an unpaid study leave because that is what I could qualify for. And I went abroad to see what else the world could hold. Yes.
Perfect. Great. So it's all about the preparation. It's all about getting yourself into the vibe of wanting to study abroad, getting experience. You talked about volunteering. You talked about, you even took a unpaid, study leave. It's all about you wanting something and going all the way. So you come across so many students that, have wishes, to be able to study abroad. But sometimes when you let them understand, those that actually studied abroad, what they went through or how they, did whatever they did, it's shows that it's all about dedication. It's all about you being, very passionate of changing your environment and becoming a better person. So very great stuff for Meltreen and Sharon. So in all this, I want to, believe that there was a, hibernation. Okay, let me not use the word hibernation, more like a gestation phase, preparing your mindset, getting you all ready, for that big, adventure. If I may ask, how long did it take? Because perhaps people listening to us now, like, I want to study abroad next year. How am I going to, should I wait for another 3 years, volunteering or joining Rotary clubs? Or, how long did that actually take? Was it consciously, were you conscious of the timing, or it just happened? So how long did it take, before your study abroad dreams actually came to fruition? Was it, how, for less of words, was it because of the volunteering or the clubs or the stuff you did that pushed you, or was it just a coincidence? And all this, how long did it take? So that maybe those listening could also, align with that. And was it just a catalyst, to push you to study abroad? Maybe Meltreen, you could start, since you've started from that angle.
Okay, thank you so much, Ikenna. First of all, the first time I heard about Erasmus was during my 4th semester in JKUAT, Jomo Kenyatta University. And I knew I wanted to pursue academia afterwards, immediately. So I was so impatient, and immediately I graduated in 2017. And immediately I started applying for the scholarships. I applied to many scholarships, not only GLODEP, but GLODEP was my priority. So yes, I got a lot of interviews. Also, GLODEP invited me for an interview in 2018, but I failed the interview. So that was the first chance. And then I said, okay, I still want you. I applied again in 2018. And again, I got to the Skype interview. Again, I applied to many, many scholarships, and I got, of course, GLODEP again, and I got the Skype interview, and finally I got accepted in GLODEP. And immediately, like 2 weeks later, I got accepted in another scholarship to go to study in Spain. And since GLODEP was my priority, I said, oh, sorry, I already have this chance. So I'm sorry. So yeah, so anyway, it took 2 years, and it wasn't really my first trial. It was, I applied again until I got it. Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah, Sharon, was it similar? Was it all longer than 2 years, or was it shorter? How long did it take all this to accumulate into the study abroad dream?
I think for me, it started way back when I was still in campus, after the high of getting to university and living my best life, and then realizing, okay, I need to get serious about this. And also knowing that I wanted to go to study abroad, I knew that I had to get at least a first-class honors. My eyes were set on the Rhodes Scholarship. I wanted to go study in the UK. I was very specific. I wanted to go to Oxford and to Cambridge, like the serious student that I was. So I needed to get very good grades. So after, having a few bad grades in first year, I woke up somewhere around second year. I thought, now I have to get straight A's to compensate for the D and other weird grades that I had gotten. So I started working on my grades back then. And when in the final semester of university, back then it usually occurred around January, between January and April, I started getting serious about applying for opportunities after university. And one of those was to either apply for internships here and there, as well as to apply for scholarships. So I applied for the Rhodes Scholarship, and I was very confident. I wanted to go to Oxford and do my master's stroke PhD there. So I applied. I went through the process. I always tell everyone that cares to listen that I even went to dinner with the then minister, the ambassador to Kenya. Back then it was Dr. Christian Turner. Very, very wonderful situation. Then there was one day we were to wait for the phone call to let us know if we got the scholarship or not. And I would never forget that day, because I saw a weird number, then went out, took the phone call, and I was told, yeah, sorry, you didn't make it. So there were better there were people who are better qualified, more qualified than you, and so on. So my world crashed out there for a moment. And I even forgot that I had applied for this other scholarship because I was applying for it just as a by the way. I mean, I'm going to Oxford. What are you telling me? That I'm going to Italy? No. So for a while, I thought, okay, maybe I'll throw myself a pity party and move on with life. So in the process of moving on with life, yeah, I got an email from the Italian agency because this scholarship was being offered by the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation. And it started with, we are pleased to inform you. I was in public transport. I told the guy, they hold up. Hey, guess what? I've gotten a scholarship. I think it was like a rebound. I was very happy about it. And I think that and other experiences later on really changed my perspective about what I thought I wanted then and what actually I got. And the experience to study in Italy, I would tell everyone, was one of the best experiences of my life. So yeah, that was my little story.
Wow, perfect. So it's not all rosy, it's not all, popping up champagne and rejoicing. It's all about, being able to strategically position yourself. And you mentioned something that I think I really like, studying abroad or trying to get that benefit. It's actually starting from while you're still in university, having the focus, getting, your grades, because obviously without those grades, the chances are going to be almost, limited for any student. So you don't just wake up overnight and just want to study abroad. From your stories, it's, subconsciously as well as, conscious efforts, to be able to push yourself beyond the comfort zone. And great, we can see that in terms of, the dividends in your professional and career lives right now. And it's such a wonderful story to hear. Yeah, Titus, I don't know if you could, take the next couple of questions for our very special, speakers today.
Yes, so our next question to Meltreen will be, what was your experience? What was your experience while studying in Italy, in France, and Czech Republic? Was it different from your expectations?
Yes, it was different from my expectations because of COVID. It wasn't really the best time to be an Erasmus student. Like, okay, expectations, and I'm going to travel in Europe. And once you have a Schengen visa, you can travel anywhere you want to any Schengen country. So I really had a list of all Schengen countries to go to, and yes. But anyway, yeah, COVID happened and I didn't manage to realize my dream. Anyway, other than that, academically, it was good, like really, really good compared to the Kenyan system of education. I got quality. I got quality professors, and I got to interact with a lot of students from various backgrounds. In GLODEP, we had 29 students from 24 different countries. So each country was represented, each continent was represented. Yeah, I got to share a lot of intercultural experiences, and I love languages. So at first you go and okay, I don't know if I should just speak in general or each country's experience. In Czech Republic, they don't make an attempt to speak English. So you really have to learn Czech, which is close to Russian. So you can imagine it's not even Latin language, and there's a lot of yes. So yeah, I really get excited learning new languages. And just going to the shop attendant or shopkeeper and even asking the price in someone's language, and they see like you really made an effort. And one experience, my classmates used to complain, these people, they don't even try to speak to you. You speak to them in English, they don't answer you in Czech. Like you speak in English and they're like, they won't open their mouth. But my experience was different. I go, I ask in Czech, how are you? How much is this? And they are open. They even ask you, they try now with their limited English because they see you're trying to learn their language. So they really open up to you. In France, it was okay because I had a background in French, so I managed to get along. And then in Italy, amazing. The culture, the food, the language, everything is amazing. So I mean, my experience was really, really amazing. At first, everyone was concerned, you're going to Europe, there's a lot of racism, you know, you're Black. But I mean, it depends on your personality. Also, if you approach people, you try to learn their language, you ask, you're interested in their culture. They are also open and they're interested in your culture as well. So academically, everything was amazing. I got to learn a lot. The professors were really friendly. I mean, it was different from the African professor. It was kind of like a friendship and not a student-professor relationship. Yes, culturally and socially, everything was good. I got to interact with a lot of people, and language-wise, now I can comfortably say I speak basic Czech, I improved my French, and I speak intermediate Italian. That was it. Thank you.
Wow, that's excellent. So we can listen now to Sharon. What was your experience in Italy?
Wow, yeah, I can only add to what Meltreen has said, because Italy, my expectations about Italy before I went there, I really didn't know what to expect, because a lot of people I knew had not gone to Italy. They had gone to the UK, to Australia, to the US, and so on. So it was just a blank template for me. And as Meltreen well puts it, yeah, people in Italy are warm, they're friendly. Of course, in any culture, in any country, there would be people that are rude, there will be people that won't like you, but that doesn't really define the culture of a particular place. So people were very friendly. They don't speak English, but we somehow could communicate. At first, you could use sign language. You can point at something and so on, and you'd find someone somewhere who would know basic Italian, or basic English. So for me, education-wise, what I really liked about my studies in Italy, it was very hands-on. One, we went for a number of trips, so everything was very practical based. So if we would study about, say, fruits, you would go to an orchard and look at the fruits themselves. If you'd study anything about, say, we'd do a course on crop protection, we would go and look at actual problems, actual diseases, and treat them. That could be within the campus we were in, or there could be trips. If we're talking about value addition, we would go to an actual factory and see how value addition takes place and learn. That was very, very interesting. Back in my university, we didn't really get a chance to say, I have that industrial link from the academic industrial link. So that really stood out. The university had a lot of access. The university itself ran a multiple entrepreneurial activities. So we would go, say, to their research on value addition and learn and so on. Another thing that stood out was how we use technology. A lot of the software I use today is because I learned that during my undergraduate studies. Not my undergraduate, my postgraduate. Maybe in my undergraduate would mention that we would use this software, but would not get into the actual use of the software. But while studying at the University of Florence, we used lots of software, not just basic knowledge, you open and close and know how to import stuff. No, you would actually process items, create maps, and so on. So that for me was, yeah, it really stood out. There were plenty of workshops. There was a workshop every Thursday, yeah, and they would invite different speakers. And some of these people, you then go on to learn that, oh, they sit on boards of serious publications, so they'll be on the board of Elsevier. They would have this title there. Then you'll be wondering, oh, and these people don't even have an attitude. They are friendly, they speak to you, and they are big people out here in this world. So just learning from people who are the best in their field, they were very, renowned professors, but yet so humble and so open to new ideas. You'd actually tell them, I think that is wrong. And they would tell you, okay, tell me why you think it is wrong. They would be open to that kind of conversation. That for me was an attitude that I had not seen in Kenya. Yeah, because how dare you question the professor and so on. But there then it was, okay, bring on your ideas, let's discuss, let's find a compromise. So that for me was amazing. The food was good. I love food. Yeah, I mean, it was no ugali, but it was good food. I learned to appreciate and love food that is not from my culture. I met a number of students from various races. We were not just Kenyans, they were Kenyans. They were guys from all over Africa. And we are so different, and just embracing the differences and seeing beauty in how people do things or go on about life. That for me was life-changing. I realized there was no one right way to do a lot of things. And yeah, just coming back again, like I would say, I was not the same person. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So my next question to Meltreen will be about your campus experience. While doing your undergraduate, you were able to participate in volunteer work at Rotary International. You were a member of a Rotary club. So during your master's, were you able to participate in clubs or student associations? And how was your learning of language, local language beneficial now when you are back in the country or in Africa?
Thank you, Titus. So yes, I was part of Rotary, and afterwards I continued, because Rotary, as you know, it's okay, maybe. It's both institution-based and community-based. So after campus, I continued being part of Rotary. But like I said, there was a lot of restrictions due to COVID. I mean, we could not move out, and it was during the peak of COVID. So I remember in every new city, as long as you have the Rotary badge, you can walk into any club meeting or any event, but then I wasn't able to do it. The least I could do was communicate with them on Facebook, follow their events, attend the Zoom meetings and all, but I could not really be present physically. And also, yes, languages. I really love languages, and you should see my CV. It's really decorated with languages. And I mean, apart from French, which is a UN working language, Italian and Czech really don't help me that much, but I get to, brag a bit and tell people I can speak this in Czech, and I mean, just that's it. But otherwise, I don't know, maybe one day it will help me. Also working for an Italian organization, we have expatriates, Italian, and at some point I can understand the conversation. I mean, it's only limited to that. Otherwise, learning a language is good if you're interacting with locals from the same region or from the same country who speak the same language. Yeah. So it really helped me when I was there, but here it's not that helpful.
Okay, I believe your language is still helpful when you are here in Kenya, especially when you are invited to embassy events. So when you go to the embassy, you meet staff there, you'll be able to speak the local language. And then also when you meet some alumni, those who studied abroad, maybe in those countries, you'll be able to speak the same language. So
yes,
maybe we
actually,
can now
thank you.
Yeah, now we can
thank
go
you
to
for
Sharon
pointing that out.
to share your experience.
So for me, the course I went to study in Italy, I was done in English. Italy as a country speaks Italian primarily. So there was a lot of exchange, and also most of my colleagues that were there, they either came from Sudan, they would speak Russian, they would speak Arabic, for instance. Guys from West Africa would speak French. So there was a lot of a mix of languages among participants of the course, and just learning one common language, because we were taught Italian for, coping within Italy. How do you bargain for things? How do you ask for directions and so on? So learning Italian was interesting for me. And like Meltreen, I am not a very quick language learner. It probably boils down to attitude. Yeah, but then I need to take longer in order to grasp a language. So when I came back, I would say basic Italian knowledge. And apart from just how the language has helped me, one thing that really stood out for me was the connections I got. So once you can speak basic Italian, you can say ciao and ask come stai and so on. You can start a conversation with anyone. The fact that you can just say hello and how are you doing, they would be very interested. We can speak in sign language going forward. So what that really did was it opened doors or opportunities for me as a person. Yeah. We really didn't have a lot of student associations because classes were very small. It was not like Kenya, we could have we were thousands of students at the university? No. Well, like only about 14 in a class. There would be 2 classes, so there'd be 28 of you. So other than the workshops that you could organize, or the showcase of African culture, the showcase of, I don't know, coffee and tea products and so on, those were occasional events that we would hold, but I would not say that I was involved in any association per se. So we didn't get to volunteer really in also communal activities because in the city, in Florence where we lived, a lot of African immigrants were the ones receiving help, and there was a lot of work towards that. So we didn't really get a chance to interact with that. And also our schedule was very full throughout. They tried to keep us busy because we were foreign students. They tried to just make sure we had something to do. Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to comment about work, not just volunteer, because apart from volunteer activities, I actually got a job in Italy to work for an American corporation. Florence is the city of fashion, so there's a lot of fashion. And again, being an open-minded person, I thought, why wouldn't I want to learn a little or two about fashion? So I got a job for an American company to collect in-store data for them, part-time job, very nice, and they paid per hour. I mean, wow. So I took it, and also do this during my time. So over the weekend, I'll do this 4 times a month, and they would pay me maybe 30 euros per hour. That was good money. So I think that was a very good opportunity. When I came back home, through my connections in Italy and my ability to speak Italian, I was connected to someone within FAO where I was able to take up an internship with FAO and complete my project, my master's project, which really opened doors for more opportunities going forward. And recently when I visited the Italian embassy, the lady was very impressed. I could say hi in Italian. She said, hey, please leave your number. We have a lot of things going on here and we could use someone who speaks Italian. Yeah, it's unfortunate that my Italian is basic, but maybe that's a call for me or someone like Meltreen who has intermediate level to, tap into those opportunities. So put yourself out there. Meltreen, go to the embassy and tell them hi. You never know. It can really, it can be more helpful than we think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll now leave Ikenna to continue.
Thank you so much, Titus, Meltreen, and Sharon. These are very good interactions, and I'm just loving it. And yeah, I think Meltreen, I also will support Sharon. You should just go to the embassy and just tell them hi. Yeah. So I like the fact that you both are top professionals, and your education, your international education, have really played a big part, in that aspect. Sharon, you talked about having part-time jobs. Yes, that's something that most international students are truly interested in. Yeah, a way to be able to augment, living expenses, especially those who are paying, out of pocket, without getting a scholarship. So in any way, did you get any kind of, support, from the university, to prepare you for that next level, perhaps the jobs you guys are in now, or the jobs you got before this one, whichever, was there a support system, around, preparation for career post-graduation, things like CV writing, career services, learning skills? Is it, because this is something that is also very important, because, it's not just studying, you want to be able to be prepared for the job. So just for our attendees to know, do you have such, or did you receive such services while studying, and was it instrumental to the kind of jobs you are getting now? Maybe Sharon, you should take that because you had a part-time job in Florence.
Yeah, I did, and my part-time job was in no way connected to what I was studying, so it was just a means of making extra money. All my expenses were paid for by the Italian agency. We had free accommodation. We even had food provided on campus and a stipend. So it was very comfortable. Yeah, but as a Kenyan, you just don't get comfortable. If there's an opportunity to make extra money, why not? You need to send something back home and show people that, life abroad is lined with euros on the streets. Okay, that's a joke. What I would say about preparations for post-graduation, I think I'll just refer back to the networking sessions that we had, and also the fact that I mentioned that some of our professors were very resourceful people. So these were people with very interesting projects in other parts of Africa. Say they would have projects in Mozambique, in Somalia, yeah, and so on. As much as I did not take advantage of, say, those projects, because they back then the Italian agency did not have very many projects in Kenya. My friends in Mozambique, for one of my friends went on to become a country director for a project that was, expanding out of Italy. So through the networking sessions, they would bring people who have companies, startups, people with projects, and they would ask if anyone is interested. So you could work on that as part of your MSc project, and then you can go ahead and get a job. Yeah, but in my case, I chose a different path. Remember, I had a study leave. I took a study leave when I went abroad. So I was obligated to come back, to report back to my workstation and decide if that is what I wanted to continue to do, or, go ahead from there. But a lot of students from Mozambique, people in Somali, some of my friends even went on to relocate back to Italy, Senegal. They got employed into projects by the Italian agency, because again, very few people speak Italian. So just by the virtue of the basic Italian, they could get jobs and so on. So that, in my experience, was how a lot of students that we were together in school took advantage of the studies abroad in order to, create careers back home. Meltreen?
Yeah, Meltreen, is this in line with that? Did you have support, while in school? Any support you got, was it instrumental, post-graduation to, what professional career you are actually, undertaking now?
Yes, okay, thank you. For us, GLODEP, first of all, there's a lot of support. We have this, for the 4th semester, we have partner organizations. So you can take internship anywhere in the world, and you just contact the partner organizations, and then you can, and they are already in contact with the GLODEP program. So they know once you contact them, I mean, when they even call, they send a call for applications, they send directly to the program and not to, individuals. So yes, that is one. And then also we had a lot of professionals coming, like every week. Different people, they would come and they would talk to us. We would attend a lot of workshops. I remember in Czech Republic, we were in Olomouc. It's 3 hours from Prague by train, but every Friday we would be going to Prague, because the Czech system is in such a way that studies are from Monday to Wednesday, but it's not weekend yet. So Thursday and Friday are dedicated mostly to workshops, seminars, trainings. Thursday mostly it was for the individual to find whatever they want to do. But on Fridays, they would connect us to like a lot of workshops on democracy, on what. So every Friday we were on the train going to Prague. It was tiring, but it was fruitful. Yes, and then also for CV writing, before applying for my scholarship, my CV was 3 pages long. After applying for the scholarship, my CV was 2 pages long. And after my studies, now my CV is 1 page long. Yes, we are really cautious on this. During the French semester, there was someone who came and really taught us about CV writing. I didn't know there was a thing like being taught on CV writing in a curriculum. But yes, they taught us how to shorten your CV to 1 page. And finally, we have our professors, on recommendations. They are really fast and they're good. You contact a professor, you tell them, I need this recommendation to apply for this job. They act on it, and they're really good. They really give good recommendations. They don't really, in Kenya, my professors, they were stubborn a bit. So you contact them, they tell you first, okay, you write, and then you send to me, and then I will just sign and stamp. But these ones, they know you, they know what to write, they've been doing this, and they really encourage you. Like even you see the recommendation and you're like, this is not me. So yeah, there's really a lot of support in terms of professional progress. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. So prior to starting your study abroad, it was 3 pages, then came down to 2 pages, and then 1 page. That's a very direct, advantage or a direct return on what you studied abroad. It's a direct effect. It's not how long your CV is. It's not how long, you write all those things. Is the effect. So that's just a direct summation of, the advantages of, of studying and having exposure of, talking to people advising you. Great stuff, Meltreen. So you are great professionals. If you could just give us a little bit of a snippet into, where you're going to see yourself in the next 5 years, in terms of career. Yeah, you started studying, you got a scholarship, you did some part-time jobs. Sharon said she did some part-time jobs, lots of volunteering, lots of things, along, in between. Where do we see Meltreen? Where do we see Sharon in the next 5 years, 5-10 years, just to accumulate, the idea of, I want to study abroad. I've studied abroad. Now I'm doing something very good. And then in the next 5 or 10 years, this is what I'm going to be doing, just to give a good perspective that it's endless, the opportunities, that you get for studying abroad. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years?
I think before I say where I see myself in 10 years, I would talk about when I got back and how I am where I am today, before I say where I will be in 10 years. So what I keep telling people is studying abroad is a life-changing opportunity. It gives you a step ahead. It puts you several steps ahead from anyone, say, who has a master's, who studied here, and even someone who's not done a master's, just by the sense that it opens you up to the world. It gives you ideas into different approaches that you can use, but it doesn't make you entitled to get a job. So when I came back to Kenya, no one called me, no one knocked on my door and said, hey, we are looking for graduates from abroad to give them work. No, I went back into the world like anyone else, using the skills that I had amassed from abroad, from the connections. I asked if there were jobs here and there, and I applied for another program. I came back and I went back into a management trainee program. I didn't say I was too big to, go back to school and do a management trainee program. Look at me, I have a master's from abroad. No. So I came back, got into a management trainee program by AGCO, which is the company I work for now. And this trainee program opened up the world even further for me, because through this program, I got a chance to work in the headquarters in Duluth, in Georgia, in the USA. I even got a chance to work in South Africa for this organization. And that organization has, in the past 4 years, I have been working with AGCO in order to, create training material. In my position, I create training material for farmers all over Africa. So it was just another stepping stone to an even greater opportunity and even greater world. And 5 years from today, because I'm still in an associate position, I'm a specialist, I see myself taking up more roles, through the experience I would have amassed, and also again through applications that I will put forth. I hope to, apply for management positions, get into these positions, and serve in positions that I'll be able to make decisions. In my academia, I really hope that I'll be able to do that PhD. And finally, I can teach, because now I teach at undergraduate studies and on undergraduate level. I'll be able to contribute to curricular development. I would inform, maybe from my experience abroad, we can spice things up and see how our education system can be transformed so that graduates that come out of university would benefit from the same, benefits that we had access to while we were abroad. Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. I think I like that academia part. Perhaps you could also be a professor. That's also a good one. You never know. So great stuff, Sharon. And thanks for sharing your future aspirations with us. Meltreen, do you have anything to add to that in terms of where you see yourself in 5-10 years, career-wise?
Well, for me, first of all, this position I started as an intern during my 4th semester. I applied when I was in Italy. I got to know about the organization. And I wanted to be close to home. And also my motivation was to work in Africa, to lead development in Africa. So first, maybe I will be based in Africa. And I used to say, even if I'm based anywhere in the world, I would be mainly focusing on projects to do with Africa. Yes, so that's first. And then after my internship, I went back. I did my final exam and I graduated. And they called me back. So currently, I wanted to work in research for development, but they gave me a position of monitoring and evaluation. So research is just a part of monitoring, because monitoring is like an umbrella, and then research comes in under. And the good thing about monitoring and evaluation or research for development is you can work anywhere in the comfort of your home. You can work remotely. So, and you can work for many, many organizations. So the thing is, with my friends, we were thinking of coming up with a consultancy firm. So I'm the researcher, right? I'm the M&E expert with experience and the master's degree. And then maybe I would have a project manager in my team. I would have an IT person. I would have a finance person. And then we develop a consultancy firm. And once these big donor organizations, they call for research persons or proposals, they call as a consultancy, not as individuals. So first, that is my dream. I mean, we just come up with a consultancy with all the brains behind it, and then, yeah, get things going and lead development projects.
Cool, great stuff. So it's all coming back to Africa. It's all having that experience, that exposure, that education to impact, back into Africa, into our home countries. Yeah, great stuff. Well, time's almost spent. Just before we conclude, I don't know if there will be some parting shots, from both of you on studying abroad, and perhaps Titus, who is also an Erasmus, alumni. Just give us some parting shots on reasons and benefits, why studying abroad is actually a very good, adventure.
I probably would go first. I think what I would say to anyone who wants to go study abroad, that it is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I promise you will not be the same person. The people you will meet, the experiences you will have, the connections that you will make will go on to change who you are as a person, and for the better, not in a bad way, for the better. Some of the tips I would give students, if you're still in university, like we've mentioned again and again, work on your grades, position yourself. You have to apply. No one will call you and ask you, oh, we are looking for students. You have to put in an application, put in good applications, make use of such forums like MSM, and get to learn about what worked for other people and what doesn't work. Yeah, and also, again, like Meltreen said, I need to mention that, please, if you can take part in extracurricular activities, please take part in them. One of the reasons I didn't get a Rhodes Scholarship was because the other applicants, one ran in the national team, someone had publications, and all I had was my good grades. So if you can have extracurricular activities, that would really boost whatever application you're putting out there and increase your chances of actually getting that scholarship or getting that chance to work abroad. Wishing you well in your applications. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Meltreen, do you have some parting shots as to some of the good advantages for studying abroad?
Yes, thank you, Sharon. So for me, I would say it really changes and opens up your mind. So first of all, you should go open-minded. You don't just set your expectations and you hope that you will get everything in your to-do list. So you go with an open mind and be flexible to change. So for me, I could say I'm a different person. I was a bit freestyle before, but now I'm more freestyle. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, now, because when in Kenya, we are taught to study. But when you go abroad, the first thing I got when I attended the debriefing session before we left, I was told, don't go to study, go and enjoy Europe. Yeah, so also that, I mean, yes, study, you have the qualification already. So also just go have fun, experience the world, travel. Yes, so that is it. And also of importance is connections. So yeah, that is it. Thank you so much.
Great. Titus, do you have some parting words from your own end?
Yes, just want to appreciate our speakers, Sharon and Meltreen, for sharing their experiences. And then also to inform you that during the next session next week, again, because we shall be having these sessions on a weekly basis, so we shall be learning how you don't have to come back to Africa to start a company. If your intention is to start a company or a business, you can start your business abroad. So one of our speakers will be sharing her experience of now she started a company while in Norway. Again, when you come back, another career possibility is to work with United Nations. So one of our speakers is currently working with the UN, and she will share her experience before and after. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Titus. And thank you so much, Meltreen, Sharon. It's such a very, fruitful session we had today. 1 hour just blew away, just listening to the very motivating, lessons from, while we are still in school, while we are in the process of applying, while you are studying abroad, and how you are impacting, in the world, at the moment. This has really been a very fruitful session, and we want to especially thank you for your valuable insights, on the topic on, studying abroad, discovering new world, opportunities, and how it could benefit, future students, and are listening to us. So thank you, attendees. Thank you, speakers. Just as a parting, message, the MSM Campus Connect webinar, it's a series of webinars that we are, presenting weekly on Thursdays, 4 p.m. East African time and 2 p.m. West African time. It's brought to you by MSM Unified. It's a one-stop shop, for international education. And it's a place where all your needs as a future international student can be met. Needs, that ranges across, information on thousands of programs, possibilities of what programs can you study, where can you study, what country can you study, articles, study guides, virtual, campus, tours that could actually put you into that, gear of studying abroad. MSM Unify is right there and ready to follow you through your journey of studying abroad. So please visit our website. You can learn a lot about what we do, about what options are available for you, down to accommodation, down to stuff like student loans, scholarships, as well as even payment options, for everything that has to do with your study abroad. Our website, is msmunified.com. And for general inquiries, you can contact us at info@msquaremedia.com. My name is Ikena Mbakogo. I'm the regional head at Africa. My email is right on the screen, and my wonderful colleague Titus is the country manager for Kenya, and his email address is on the screen. So do well to contact us, send us an email, go to our website, look at the possibilities, that you can get to study abroad. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Meltreen. And thank you for everyone listening to us. We've set a date for same time next week, and see you then. Cheers and bye for now.